Have you ever opened your lab results, taken a look at one number, and went, because it's slightly out of range? Maybe your LDL climbed. Could be your blood pressure was higher than it was last year. Maybe your provider used the word risk. Suddenly, menopause feels like a medical warning. Today, we are removing fear for midlife lab work because numbers are not verdicts. All they are data points. And data only becomes useful when it's interpreted in context. This episode is about understanding what changes after 40, why some shifts are common during menopause, and how to approach your cardiovascular numbers without panic, extremes, or self blame. I'd like to welcome you to MenoSpark, the podcast that helps women reignite their spark through perimenopause and beyond with a focus on holistic health and wellness. I'm your host, Allie Thies. I'm a board certified sexologist, sex coach, menopause care provider, integrative wellness coach. I'm certified in integrative functional nutrition and your go to guide for navigating the wild, weird, and wonderful ride that is midlife. Why? Because I'm doing this whole journey without hormones. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that follow button so that you never miss an episode. And if you're returning, thank you for being a part of this amazing community. I am going to be part of the 5th annual WHATT, WHATT, which is all about wellness, holistic, alternative treatment, and therapy fair, happening in Wooster, Ohio from Friday, March 20th, 4 to 8 p.m., and Saturday, March 24th from 10 to 4 p.m. at the Secrest Welcome and Education Center at 2122 Williams Road in Worcester. They sure know how to make wellness fun. And even though there is a $10 entry fee, kids, 10 and under are free, of course. You've got a sound bath, you've got Reiki, art activities, therapy dogs, classes, presentations, food trucks, and a self-guided self-care experience. Plus, I'm going to be there talking about menopause. So let's talk. Let's get some questions answered. It is going to be a very good and informative time. Now, what we're talking about today, I didn't bother putting it right here. Oh, menopause. Yeah, you make me flub up every single episode because that is real life, folks. We are talking about blood pressure, cholesterol, and midlife lab work. What your numbers really mean. Last time I went to my doctor, they did my labs, of course, and I got them back, and I just saw risk, or abnormal, abnormal, abnormal. I'm like, holy crap! Like this isn't good news. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I panicked at first, but then I thought about it. Okay, this is where all my stuff is at, and now we have a baseline. So let's work with this and see what happens. And first thing we had to work with was blood pressure. Blood pressure reflects the force of blood moving through your arteries. So the two numbers that matter are systolic, which is the pressure during contraction, and I never can say this right, diastolic, pressure during relaxation. Before menopause, before you hit that peri, estrogen supports arterial elasticity, nitric oxide production, and healthy vesicular dilation. As that estrogen leaves your body, arteries can stiffen slightly, vascular tone, it changes, and stress hormones exert stronger influence. Oh, yes. And this can cause gradual upward trends. It's an important perspective. A reading of 118 over 72 in your 30s and 126 over 82 in your late 40s, it's not catastrophic. Heck, mine was 153 over 101. So yeah, and I'll be 59 this year. It's not catastrophic, but it is a signal to monitor. Blood pressure fluctuates daily based on how much sleep you get, your stress level, your sodium intake, hydration, caffeine, and anxiety at the doctor's office. That last one there, I am so totally guilty of. Um, it's always been bad, always been bad. Um, but what matters most is the trend, not one isolated reading. A consistent upward pattern deserves attention. An occasional elevated reading does not equal disease. Blood pressure is dynamic, which means it's responsive. All right, so now LDL cholesterol. This number here for LDL seems to create a lot of fear. All right, because LDL cholesterol often increases after menopause. And why? Because estrogen played a role in lipid metabolism. When estrogen declines, LDL clearance slows, HDL may increase slightly, triglycerides can shift, and fat distribution changes. These shifts are physiologically expected. They are not automatic proof of heart disease. Context does matter. Total cholesterol alone is not enough information. A full lipid panel provides better clarity. Your LDL, your HDL, your triglycerides, and the ratios between them. Even more informative are inflammatory markers. Insulin sensitivity markers, and of course, your family history. Cholesterol does not act alone, it interacts with inflammation and metabolic health. Now, inflammation and blood sugar. Cardiovascular risk is rarely just about cholesterol. Chronic inflammation and unstable blood sugar contribute significantly. Elevated blood sugar damages blood vessel linings, increases inflammatory markers, promotes insulin resistance, alters lipid metabolism. So, cholesterol increases blood sugar. Now, that line right there. Cholesterol increases blood sugar. As our hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone decrease, our cortisol levels automatically raise. Okay, that's how our body tries to, I don't know why we're designed like this, how our body tries to counteract the declining of those three hormones is they raise our cholesterol level, or I'm sorry, they raise our cortisol level. And of course, when you're in menopause, you don't sleep well. So less of sleep increases cortisol. Chronic stress increases inflammation. And you see how this is all connected? When women attempt aggressive dieting, overtraining, or sleep restriction to fix their labs, cortisol will often rise. And of course, that rise can worsen the lipid patterns. Steady regulation works better than intensity, guys. So, how to interpret lab work? When you review your lab results, ask yourself, is this a pattern? Do you have previous lab work that sustains this, or is this a single data point? Have there been recent lifestyle changes? Has your sleep been disrupted? Has stress been elevated? Has nutrition shifted? Are inflammatory markers present? Midlife interpretation requires some nuance. For example, slight LDL increase plus stable triglycerides plus good HDL plus good glucose equals monitor and support. Elevated LDL plus high triglycerides plus high fasting glucose equals address metabolic factors. Okay, labs are part of a larger story. They're not identity markers, they're not going to give you a moral grade, they're feedback. So, when intervention is appropriate, there are times when stronger intervention is appropriate. Consistently elevated blood pressure, significantly elevated LDL, high inflammatory markers, evidence of insulin resistance, and strong family history. In those cases, medication may be supportive. And I am on high blood pressure medication. It got changed after that 153 over 101. So, high blood pressure medication, and I'm also on a statin. Yes, also on a statin. So, And lifestyle shifts, I've done a lot of lifestyle shifts, a lot of food changing, a lot of um, putting sugar on the back burner, which makes me sad. Alcohol on the back burner makes me even sadder. Um, pizza, very moderate as opposed to weekly. Lots of salads, lots of fruits and vegetables and oatmeal and good things for me. We can coexist with medication and lifestyle shifts if need be, right? This goal here is long term protection, not perfection. So, what can support cardiovascular numbers? What can supported cardiovascular numbers feel like? Well, when heart health is supported, you may notice a more stable blood pressure, maybe some steadier energy, which is always nice, better exercise recovery, fewer heart flutters, improved sleep, calmer stress responses. Often numbers improve gradually when rhythm improves. Consistency regulates. So, for your Spark action of the week, choose one stabilizing practice. You can walk 15 to 20 minutes daily, or add one soluble fiber source. You can also maybe prioritize your sleep rhythm, reduce evening stimulation, track blood pressure calmly for 7 days. And notice I said calmly. Tracking should inform, not alarm. They sell blood pressure um, kits on Amazon, then they're not that expensive. Now, if you want some more support, you know how to find me. You know what I do. I coach, I have menopause appointments, and of course, I have the menopause wellness audit, which is called Unpause, that I assess what's going on with you based on how you fill out the form, and I send back where things should be shifted, changed, maybe some lifestyle modifications, and give you some resources. That's the word I'm looking for. Resources. So midlife lab work should create clarity, not fear. Menopause, it shifts your whole body, right? But you're not a fragile human being. You're just, you're recapitulating. Yet, do you have to be careful if you fall, you don't break a bone? Of course. Okay. Do you have to be careful that as your tendons are whittling away for lack of estrogen, do you have to be careful with your joints? Of course you do. But you're not a delicate flower. I mean, for God's sakes, you're Gen X, most of you. Let's you get power forward, but you got to pay attention to your body as well, right? Well, the heart doesn't operate in isolation, so I think next week we may talk about inflammation, blood sugar, and the metabolic heart connection. Don't quote me on it because I wrote that in there without double checking before I did this. And I'd like to thank you for caring for your heart in a way that is steady, sustainable, and well informed. And if today's episode resonated with you, I see you. I've been there. I'm still there. And I promise there is a way forward. You don't need to walk the road alone. You're worthy of healing, connection, and joy. And I'd like to thank you for hanging out with me here on MenoSpark today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you found it helpful, please share it with a friend, leave a review, and make sure you're subscribed. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Substack for menopause insights, holistic tools, and new ways to support your spark. And if no one's told you this today, please let me be the first to say it. You are fabulous. Until next time, keep that spark alive. You deserve it.